Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a whale of an evening last night. It was nice here in Wichita. We in the high 70s, low 80s, and we're going to warm up, get closer to norms now, which will be pushing 85, 88 during the daytime. So they promised us a warm up here over the next 3 or 4 days, and we get to dry out for a couple of days. So life should be pretty good. Lots of people will be cutting that grass that has grown probably 4 to 6 inches this week. So here we are. It is Friday. It's post-auction day. Usually a post-auction day yields a pause day, with the close equal to or greater than the average price. And the average price was $24.03. So that's what we're going to play for. If we can buy it below 03, I think that really represents 03, 04, probably as good as we can do. We've got single prints from the buck to 4, so getting stops in this area I think is possible. We got the bottom of value from yesterday at 04 for the day session, so there's a lot of support in that 124, 124.04 area. Hence our buy is 1 to 5. Now, one of the uncomfortable things for most traders, if it's a counter trend move, is to not a counter trend, is if it's with the trend, is to buy into weakness or sell into strength, depending on which way the market's going. But in the financials, you've got to buy into weakness and you've got to sell into strength to prosper. Pretty good selling above 16 to 20, maybe at 13. So I would like to sell 15s to 19s. But if the E-mini shows some strength and opens up a little better, it may take 11s to 15s. I don't know. So a lot of it will depend upon the E-mini. PPI news will not play, although Tim Carney and Bank of England is talking about raising interest rates. They're floating trial balloons, which would be contrary to what the ECB has done. And contrary to what the Fed has said, interest rates are going to stay low for a long period of time. The hawks in our markets say the Fed should start raising rates too. And then Michigan sentiment, which will be the news focus for today, and that's at 83. So I think the direction of the E-mini will probably be the biggest influence when it's all said and done, and the E-mini has to sell early and take out support and then change support in that 15 area from support to resistance. If the E-mini doesn't break, end of the week short covering is probably the biggest dynamic that we'll face there. So got a couple of things working, but when it's all said and done today, unless the E-mini just makes a huge move, we should see a trading range with buyers 124, 124.04. Definitely sellers above 16 and possibly above 12. Don't know yet. Short-term biases to the upside in the note and bond. We are getting selling right now because of the E-mini holding in there. Okay, the knob spread strengthened a great deal overnight. Fairly big move. You'll see that the note was just kind of sideways. The 30-year extended yesterday's range. The note didn't. If the note sells today, so will the bond, but there's, because of the knob spread strength, we probably have a little bit more interest in the buy side on the 30-year than we will on the 10. Okay, the breakout came at 13. We're in this area right here. 50% retracement would take us down to 17. So 17 to 13 will be buy 1. Play for a little lower. And then 5 to 9 will be buy 2. Like to go 31s to 03s, then 7 to 11. But if the E-mini snaps back, the sell's probably going to be at 27. Don't know. Okay, gold held in well overnight. There, you know, when you leave your back door open and put welcome signs with a map on it, you're probably going to get robbed. And what we have in the world right now is just anybody and everybody that has intentions outside of their borders. They're taking advantage of what's going on. I mean, the chaos, that the lack of a vision, the withdrawal, the unilateral withdrawal of the United States from all parts of the world. We have possibly the start of a new militant region or country. They call it Syria and Iraq. Don't know how far or where that one's going, but it's not good. A lot of people are going to get killed or are being killed. One of the articles out yesterday was the streets of Mosul were lined with the heads of soldiers and policemen. Now, you really have to sit back and ask yourself, why would you surrender and almost to an almost certain death, torture, decapitation, being killed when these guys come in? But I see that happen so much in the Arab world. These guys throw in the towel knowing that they're probably going to lose their head. And you have to ask yourself what type of philosophy allows that to happen. And it's they don't see death as a bad thing. In fact, many of them welcome it. And they also have a deep-rooted fatalistic approach on life. It's God's will. There's nothing I can do about it. So you put those two things together, you'll see a guy throw down his rifle, get in line to get his head cut off. And there were 30,000 troops in Mosul, and depending on which article you read, 1,000 to 5,000 insurgents took it over. I don't know what the answer is, what the correct number is, etc. But it did. I mean, they were vastly outnumbered, but they fell pretty damn fast. When you take a look at the Western mind, you know, if you know that you're going to get your head cut off, you'll go down fighting. You know, at least maybe you can take a couple of them with you, and it's a much different philosophy. So we left yesterday's gold market. We had a sell at 75 to 77. Did we hit that one or not? And our first buy was in the 68 to 70 area, and we didn't quite get down there. So we're going to make buy 1, 69.71, buy 2, 65.67, and on the sell side we'll leave 75.77 and 79.81. If we can take out 78, 83 is the attractor. That's where the volume is, and so that would give us a chance to sell over 80 at some point in the session. The bias is up because of what's going on in Iraq. The bias is up because of what's going on from Mali to Pakistan. The bias is up because of what China's doing to the Philippines and Vietnam. So you have this built-in war support for the market right now, but 75 is a nice round market number, and it might hold. Okay, the euro held in actually pretty good last night. It did find sellers where we thought it might. Get the screen up here. And I think what's interesting is that England is talking about raising interest rates sooner rather than later, and the European Central Bank just cut rates. So Britain's real estate market has been pretty strong, and their economic growth has generally been better than on the continent outside of Germany. Okay, we left yesterday wanting to sell 75s to 85s, and the high was 75, so that was a pretty good call. It is a round number, and that fit the structure that we'd identified yesterday, that 75 to 80 area. On the buy side, you can see that we've had pretty good buying below 35.20, and we're at 37 right now. So we'll make 15 to 25 buy one. I think there's enough uncertainty in Iraq that this market will hold, and we'll make 34.90, 35 buy 2. On the sell side, the spill was from 48, so we'll make 45 to 55 sell 1. And then 75 plus or minus sell 2. So we hit the euro and gold really well for the overnight session. For those of you that can trade Europe time, it's slower trading usually, but you can get some hellacious moves in gold and the euro on London time, and it really pays you to take a look at trading those markets. And if you're an insomniac or have no trouble getting up U.S. time, then you can put some great structural trades on there too. Okay, crude rallied again last night. We thought that might be the case. We weren't really too interested in getting short. Our second sell zone was 25 to 50. The first sell zone was against 107. We blew right through 107, and it's directly because of the war in Iraq and its threat. There's a 1.6 million barrel per day pipeline that runs from Iraq through Turkey, gets to the Mediterranean and parts farther north. And people were worried about that. There is a story that the Iranian Al-Quds guards, their 3 regiments were sent from Iran to Iraq to make sure Malaki's government doesn't fail. It's a Shia-based government. It's a Shia-based operating base for Iran outside of its borders, so Iran will protect its national interests. And supposedly they took back the city of Tikrit. And that's very believable because you're not dealing with huge numbers of insurgents or rebels or whatever you want to call them. So we'll make the sell 25 to 50, and number 2 like we had it yesterday. The bias is to the upside, no doubt. Then 75 to the buck for sell 2. And on the buy side, we had the breakout from 50. So we'll make 50 to 75 buy 1. That's a very, very aggressive buy. But I don't think anybody's going home short this weekend. I don't think peace is going to break out in Iraq. And so given that the bias is to the buy side, you can get short, but the trade has to develop quickly to stay short. The market went north of 110 on the last big chance of fighting. So you can, and then one time we spiked up to 114 off the idea that war might be breaking out. So war moves this market quickly. And to everybody's favorite market, we sold pretty heavily yesterday. Came down pretty hard, very, very little in the way of retracement. Japan and China's markets were up, which is unusual. Usually they follow the United States, but the talk out of Asia was what was Japan going to do with its corporate tax rates, how they were going to work that into their economy, and how long would Abenomics be allowed to run. Asia was up. Europe got hit pretty hard. They followed the United States. Usually Asia follows the United States, and if the market's going to turn, it'll be in Europe. So we have this very, very clean break right here at 27, and we have our 30 to 32. And late yesterday we said as long as we stayed below 30, 32 area, right in here, that the market would sell. So the issue is, can we take out overnight support? And you can see that there were buyers below 18. So we're going to have really pretty good support in the 15 to 17 area. And the idea is, will this area hold or not? I don't think we can break the market. We've got the low volume number here at 14, but I do think we can trade lower. And so the obvious trade right here is to sell 25, 27, Occam's razor, and then 29 to 31 leaning against this area right here. So if we don't break the market early, then short covering becomes the dynamic. So buy one is potentially this 15 to 17 area. Don't know for sure, but fairly comfortable with this high volume number down here at 9 to 11, which will make buy two. So I want to get short to see if we can take out yesterday's low. If we can't take out yesterday's low, then we can trade from the long side. The 25 to 27 is fairly aggressive. The thing that would spook what you'd like to see is for the market to rotate higher and fail in that 27 to 32 area, get short, and then see if you can take out 1918. The low volume numbers at 1914.50. Leaning against that will give us a buy at 15 to 17. 9 to 11 would be leaning against a high volume number at 9. Give it a little bit of wiggle room. Okay, it'll take at least 15 minutes to get everything up and going. I'm going to get busy on that. I'm going to stop the recording right now and be back with you as fast as I can.